Hello everyone, it's teacher Nina from Sekolah Kebangsaan Putrajaya Persin 181 here. So today we are going to continue learning about science for year 3. Are you ready? Get your textbook ready. But if you don't have one with you right now, don't worry about it. Just focus on the screen. Shall we start now? Okay, let's go. So now let's open to page 3 and 4 here. We are going to do a little bit of a recap on the topics that you will learn for the whole of this year. As you can see, there are 10 topics from these 10 units. So we have covered the topics of scientific skills, science room rules, and also humans. So today we will continue with the animals topic. Now open to page 59. So this is what we are going to learn today about animals. So look at this stimulus page. What can you see here? There are 3 bubbles. The first one we can see a goat. The second one a monkey. And the third one, a tiger. And these animals are about to have a meal, you can say. So around these bubbles, there are a few objects here. What do you think they are? So now, let's look at the question. What might be the food eaten by these animals? Now let's look at page 60. We are now going to learn about the classification of animals. I really hope you still remember about classification that we learned in the subtopic of science process skills not too long ago. So now, let's observe the pictures below. Rabbit, eagle, snake, chicken, elephant, and monkey. Question. What do these animals eat? Look carefully at the pictures. We can say that the food that these animals eat can be categorized into 2. And they are plants and other animals. Do you agree? Now, let's look one by one. The first one, the rabbit. What is the rabbit eating? Is it eating some plants or other animals? What is that? Yup, it's some kind of a vegetable. So, the rabbit is eating plants. What about these eagles? The baby eagles and also the adult eagle. What is the adult eagle feeding its young? I can see something with blood there. So most probably they are eating other animals. What about this snake? What is the snake eating? It's a rat or a rodent. So, the snake is eating other animals. Now let's look at the chickens here. This one, it is eating a worm, right? But this one, it is eating some grains. So chickens eat both plants and other animals. What about this elephant then? What is the elephant eating? The elephant is eating some leaves, right? So leaves come from plants. Aha, look at the monkeys here. The first one is eating. What is this? It's a tick or a louse. The plural of louse is lice that we can also find on our heads. So this is a louse, and this other monkey is eating a papaya. So the louse is an animal, whereas the papaya is a plant. So monkeys eat plants and other animals. Now let's look at the next page. From the previous activity, we have actually done a classification of animals based on what they eat. We classify the animals based on their eating habits. The first group of animals are the ones that eat plants only, and they are the rabbit and the elephant. The second one are the animals that eat other animals only. You still remember the eagles and also the snake? Good. And the third group are the animals that eat plants and other animals. The chicken and also monkey. Question. Based on the classifications above, can you name other animals that have similar eating habits to the animals above? Can you think of other animals that eat plants only? Name them. What about animals that eat other animals only? Can you think of a few? Now, what about the animals that eat plants and other animals? What animals can you think of? Name them. Excellent! Now let's look at the next page. Animals eating habits. There are specific terms that we can use to say about the animals' eating habits. What are they? The first one is herbivores. Herbivores. The second term is carnivores. Carnivores. And the third one is omnivores. Omnivores. You can read from this comic here that the teacher explains the rabbits are herbivores because they eat plants only. So herbivores are animals that eat plants only. Now, what about carnivores? Carnivores. Tigers are carnivores because they eat other animals only. So, carnivores are animals that eat other animals only. And the last one, which is the omnivores. Chickens are omnivores because they eat plants and other animals. So, omnivores are animals that eat plants and other animals. Question. Give other examples of animals that are herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Why do you choose these animals? Okay, now I am going to list a few animals that I can think of right now. So you tell me whether the animals are herbivores, carnivores, or omnivores. Okay, let's see. First one. Deer, fish, lion, frog, giraffe, praying mantis, grasshopper. Do you know the answers? Good. On page 63 here is an activity that you can do. You will need a clay, white paper, and marker pens. So if you have the time, please do this activity. Now that we have learned about herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores, we will now proceed to the next subtopic, which is the dentition of animals. Dentition. What is that? Actually, we have learned about dentition before. You still remember? Aha! What are these? Incisors, canines, and molars. Yes, these are the types of teeth that humans have. Well, animals also have incisors, canines, and molars. Let's look one by one. Do you know that animals have different types of teeth? Carnivores have sharper canines than other animals. Have sharp canines to tear meat. Look at the picture. Wow. Look at the canines here. They are indeed longer and sharper than humans. Second one, herbivores. Herbivores have strong incisors to cut plants. They have big molars to grind plants for easier swallowing. Look at the pictures here. These front teeth are not canines like the ones for the carnivores. They are actually incisors. But their incisors are stronger than ours. Now let's look at omnivores. Omnivores have incisors to cut food, canines to tear meat, and molars to grind food. Hey, this is about the same with humans' teeth. Now, compare and contrast the teeth of carnivores, herbivores, and omnivores. Are there any similarities? What about differences? Can you spot them? Good. Hot question. Do all omnivores have the same types of teeth as mentioned above? Why? Do you understand the question? Now, omnivores. Can you think of omnivores? Monkeys, chickens, what else? Bears? Well, do all these omnivores have the same types of teeth as mentioned? What do you think? Now, let's look at the next page. It might sound funny, but it is worth discussing about. Question. If animals had teeth that did not suit their eating habits, what would happen to these animals? Observe the situations below. Animals had teeth that did not suit their eating habits? What do they mean? Let's look at the first situation. Herbivores. And an example here is a goat. Hey, look at these goats' teeth. They are not incisors, but canines. It's difficult for me to cut this grass. Why can't the goat above cut the grass easily? Yes, the answer is because of the teeth. The goat or any other herbivores are supposed to have incisors, strong incisors here, and not canines, because they need to cut the grass and other plants with it. Now look at the second situation for carnivores. Example here is a lion. And the teeth also. It's weird looking at a lion with big incisors instead of canines. It's difficult for me to tear this meat. Why is it difficult for the lion above to tear the meat? What do you think? It's pretty easy, right? Now let's focus on the third situation, the omnivores. These are two orangutans. Hey, look at their teeth. My teeth can tear this fish easily, the first one says. And look, he's giving a thumbs up here. But this one says something different. But my teeth can't cut this banana. Oh my! Why could the orangutans above eat the fish easily, but not the banana? If you look carefully, we can see only canines here. So that is why this one can tear the fish. But this fella here, well, he needs his incisors to cut the banana, right? Question. Why do herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores have different types of teeth according to their eating habits? What do you think? Let's discuss. Now, let's move on to the next page where we will discuss an interesting topic. Changes in the animal's eating habits. Bears are naturally omnivores that eat plants and other animals. However, polar bears have changed their eating habits. Polar bears are classified as carnivores because they eat other animals only. They live in the polar regions, which are always cold and covered in ice. They cannot find plants because plants cannot grow in the polar regions. Therefore, polar bears eat other animals only. So do you understand this? To sum it up, what we learned is bears are omnivores because they eat other animals and plants. Polar bears are not omnivores. Why? Because they cannot find plants in their natural habitat, which is the polar regions. No plants can grow in the polar regions because it is always cold and covered in ice. Therefore, polar bears are carnivores. They eat other animals only. Question: what are other examples of animals that have changed their natural eating habits? Explain. Well, this topic is very interesting because previously we have learned about the dentition of the animals, how carnivores have really sharp canines, and their canines are longer and sharper than us humans. And then we also learned about how herbivores have really strong incisors. They need the incisors to cut the grass and other plants. Whereas omnivores, they have the combination of all three types of teeth. The incisors to cut food, the canines to tear meat, and the molars to grind mold. So from the dentitions, we know that animals are classified according to their eating habits based on what they eat and also the dentition, the types of teeth they have. Now I am going to introduce to you a term that can be used to explain this situation. And the term is adaptation. Polar bears adapt to its natural habitat where no plants can grow. So they have no choice but eat only other animals. That is why polar bears have changed its eating habits from other bears. So based on this explanation, do you think you are able to answer this question? What are other examples of animals that have changed their natural eating habits? Explain. Can you think of one other example? Let me give you a clue. The animal is very close to us, and it sounds like this. Meow, meow. Yes, cats. If you notice, cats have really sharp canines. They don't have incisors. But then, what do cats eat? Please explain. Now let's turn to the next page. In this page, there is an idea or suggestion for a fun activity that you can do at home with your siblings or your parents. If you have the time, please do this activity. Now let's turn to page 69. there is yet another activity that you can do individually. If you have the materials and the time and patience, please do this activity. Okay, we have come to the end of this topic. Let's remember the classification of animals according to their eating habits. We have learned that herbivore is an animal that eats plants only. Carnivore is an animal that eats other animals only. And omnivore is an animal that eats plants and other animals. Can you give other examples of herbivore, carnivore, and omnivore? Good. And the second point is the dentition of animals according to their classifications. I hope you still remember how carnivores have really strong, sharp canines. Herbivores have strong incisors, and omnivores have canines, incisors, and molars. And the third one. Now, this is the last page for this topic. Let's answer. There are 5 questions here that I really hope you can answer. And don't forget the HOTS question below. Okay, everyone, I really hope you understand this topic well. Should there be any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Alright, everyone, have a good day ahead. Bye.